imagine a candlelit chamber in the opulent winter palace, where shadows cling to gilded walls and betrayal will grip you until its tragic end. In 1905, Russia teetered on the edge of chaos. Tsar Nicholas II, a gentle but weak ruler, faced revolts and a restless nobility. His wife, Alexandra, a German-born princess, was devout, isolated, and consumed by worry for her son, Alexei, the hemophiliac heir whose every bruise threatened death. The Romanov court, a glittering maze of intrigue, buzzed with distrust of the foreign Tsarina. Into this turmoil stepped Grigory Rasputin, a Siberian peasant with tangled hair and piercing eyes, claiming divine visions and healing powers. His arrival in St. Petersburg was no accident. Nobles seeking influence introduced him to the royal couple. Rasputin's charisma was electric. He spoke of God with a peasant's fervor, his unpolished manners a stark contrast to courtly decorum. In 1906, he met Alexandra during one of Alexei's bleeding crises. As the boy writhed, Rasputin prayed, his hands hovering over the child. Miraculously, Alexei stabilized. Alexandra, desperate and devout, saw a saint sent by God. She invited Rasputin closer, ignoring whispers of his drunken brawls and womanizing. By 1908, he was a fixture at court, his influence growing as Alexandra called him our friend. Nobles, alarmed, spread tales of his hypnotic hold over the Tsarina, some hinting at darker, forbidden bonds. The court's unease turned to outrage. Rasputin's behavior, carousing in taverns, boasting of his sway over the empress, fueled rumors of an affair. Letters, possibly forged, circulated, describing intimate encounters. Alexandra, blind to the gossip, leaned on Rasputin's prayers to save Alexei, her faith unshaken. Russia's elite, from ministers to grand dukes, saw a scandal that threatened the monarchy. Yet Rasputin's grip tightened, his presence a shadow over the Romanovs. Fading glory. Rasputin's influence over Alexandra grew unshakable. By 1911, he was more than a healer. He was her confidant, advisor, and spiritual guide. Alexandra, isolated by her German heritage and Alexei's illness, saw Rasputin as God's enemy. The court seethed. Rasputin, a peasant, dined with nobles, his unwashed robes clashing with their silks. He meddled in state affairs, pushing allies into high posts and clashing with ministers. In 1912, he opposed Russia's entry into the Balkan Wars, claiming divine warning, and Alexandra echoed his pleas. Nicholas, torn, hesitated, angering generals who saw Rasputin as a traitor. Gossip exploded. Tavern-goers claimed Rasputin bragged of ruling the Tsarina, while nobles whispered of hypnotic spells. Some swore he seduced her, though evidence pointed more to spiritual than physical intimacy. Rasputin's enemies struck back. In 1914, a peasant woman stabbed him, crying, "I've killed the Antichrist." He survived, but the attack emboldened critics. The church, wary of his unorthodox faith, investigated his ties to the Hlisti sect, rumored to practice ritual orgies. Alexandra, undeterred, defended him fiercely, dismissing critics as jealous. When World War I erupted, Rasputin's influence peaked. With Nicholas at the front, Alexandra governed in St. Petersburg, consulting Rasputin on every decision. He pushed for peace, clashing with war-hungry nobles, his power now a threat to Russia's stability. The public turned on the mad monk. Pamphlets caricatured him as a lecherous puppeteer, Alexandra his puppet. Soldiers mocked the Tsarina as the German whore, blaming her for Russia's losses. Rasputin, reveling in his role, threw wild parties, boasting of his sway. By 1916, the Romanovs' prestige was crumbling, the court a powder keg. Nobles, led by Prince Felix Yusupov, plotted to end Rasputin's reign. Their whispers of murder echoing through the Winter Palace's halls. In December 1916, Rasputin's fate was sealed. Prince Yusupov, a charming aristocrat, lured him to the Moika Palace under the guise of a party. The plan was grim: poison, shoot, or drown the mystic to save the monarchy. Yusupov offered Rasputin wine and cakes laced with cyanide, but the monk, laughing, ate without effect. Panicked, Yusupov shot him, the bullet piercing his chest. Rasputin staggered, collapsing in the snow. Yet, impossibly, he rose, fleeing into the courtyard. Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich fired again, and Rasputin fell, his body dumped into the icy Neva River. The murder shocked Russia. Alexandra, devastated, mourned Rasputin as a saint, clutching his prayer beads. Nicholas, returning from the front, faced a fractured court. Rasputin's body, recovered days later, showed signs of struggle. He had clawed at the ice, lungs full of water. His death, meant to save the Romanovs, instead hastened their doom. The public, divided, saw Rasputin as both villain and martyr. Peasants mourned him as a holy man. Nobles celebrated his end. But the damage was done. Alexandra's reliance on him had eroded trust in the monarchy. By 1917, revolution loomed. Alexandra, vilified as Rasputin's puppet, was blamed for Russia's woes. Strikes and riots swept St. Petersburg, and soldiers mutinied. In March, Nicholas abdicated, ending 300 years of Romanov rule. Alexandra, with her children, was arrested, their fate sealed by the scandal Rasputin's influence had fueled. The Bolsheviks, seizing power, painted the Tsarina as a traitor, her devotion to the mystic proof of her corruption. In 1918, the Romanovs were executed, their blood staining a Siberian cellar. Russia mourned and cursed Rasputin in equal measure. His daughter, Maria, fled to Paris, claiming her father was misunderstood, a healer slandered by nobles. The church, torn, refused to canonize him, his legacy tainted by debauchery. Rasputin's death, meant to save an empire, instead marked its collapse, his shadow lingering over the Romanovs' fall. Rasputin's name became synonymous with scandal, his story a cautionary tale of faith twisted by power. Historians debate his influence. Was he a charlatan exploiting a desperate mother, or a genuine mystic caught in a vicious court? His letters, filled with rambling piety, suggest a man who believed his own visions. Yet his drunken boasts and womanizing fueled his infamy. Alexandra's devotion, born of love for her son, made her vulnerable. Her trust in Rasputin, a fatal flaw that doomed her dynasty. The Romanovs' fall reshaped Russia. The Bolsheviks used Rasputin's legend to vilify the monarchy, justifying their revolution. His image, wild-eyed, bearded, hypnotic, became a cultural icon, inspiring novels, films, and songs. From Boney M's Rasputin to modern documentaries, his story captivates, a blend of mystery and horror. Scholars pore over archives, questioning the extent of his power. Did he truly heal Alexei, or was it placebo? Was Alexandra seduced by his charisma, or bound by faith alone? Russia's wounds from Rasputin's era lingered. The church, scarred by his shadow, tightened control over mystics. The nobility, decimated by revolution, vanished into exile or graves. Rasputin's legacy warns of the dangers of unchecked influence, the fragility of trust, and the cost of desperation. His eyes, immortalized in paintings, still pierce through time. A reminder that even queens can fall under a mystic's spell. What drives a queen to trust a madman? Faith, fear, or something deeper? Rasputin's story offers no easy answers, but it demands we question the power of belief. Share this tale, and let's unravel the shadows of Russia's past together.